Deep within the picturesque countryside of rural Germany, there happened the most horrific, notorious case of human insanity ever recorded. The perpetrator, this man, Arin Meiwes, a former computer repair technician with a mind so destroyed and wrong he would literally cook and eat another guy's severed dick. Well, almost. This is the absolutely horrifying and disgusting story of the man known as the Rottenburg Cannibal, or
Der Metzgermeister.
Arin Meiwes. Arin was born in December 1961 to a fatherless household. According to police interviews, his fantasies for eating people began at a very early age, as he remembers fantasizing on eating his classmates at the playground when he was around 8 or 10 years old. This was allegedly because of his early exposure to books and stories like Hansel and Gretel. During these interviews, he also revealed that he was very lonely as a kid after his father had left him. This, I think, is also the same reason he is bisexual. After this, there really aren't that many more details pertaining to his childhood. All we know is that he grew up in a rough, probably dysfunctional household, which may or may not have contributed to the cannibalistic nature he would take in the future. Fast forward a few years to 2001, when Arin was about middle age, it seemed he could no longer control his urges. This is the infamous and absolutely deranged Cannibal Cafe forum, a forum where literal cannibals and people who want to get eaten post detailed fantasies about eating and being eaten. This was also where Arin would cast his net. With the username Frankie, he would post this absolute abomination of an ad asking for someone he could perhaps kill and devour, preferably slim and blonde. As ridiculous as this advert may seem, one guy from Berlin actually responded. Meet
Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes,
a 43-year-old engineer, bisexual, masochist, and the guy who accepted Arin's absolutely deranged ad. Upon accepting the ad, Bernd would start chatting with Arin about the details of the activity, like where and when they were to meet and what they were to do. A few days later, in the small town of Worcesterfield, Bernd would show up at Arin's classical German house, and there the horrors would begin. Meiwes would start by giving Bernd 20 sleeping pills to numb his senses for what was about to happen next, the amputation of Bernd's actual dick. Bernd initially suggested Arin to just bite his dick off. Unfortunately, this did not work, and Bernd's dick still remained intact with Arin's teeth marks on it. Because of this, the duo just settled on using a knife and Arin's skills as a butcher, as that was once his job, to cut Bernd's dick off. After Bernd's dick was off and Bernd bleeding profusely on the floor, the both of them tried to eat it raw. Unfortunately, the meat was simply too hard, so Arin decided to cook it with all the seasonings and everything, but because of Arin's mid-cooking skills, the meat ended up getting too burnt to be eaten, so Arin just chopped it up and fed it to his dog. By now, Bernd was literally dying of blood loss. Apparently, the cock has vital veins which carry a lot of blood. This was very unfortunate for Bernd, as because of this he wouldn't be able to eat his own cooked cock. Now it was time for phase 2 of the ordeal, the slaughtering. Arin would drag Bernd's bleeding, unconscious, naked body into his bathroom. There he would place Bernd in the bathtub, read him a Star Trek book for a sort of bedtime story, I guess, pray for some reason, and then kill Bernd by stabbing him in the throat. Arin would then hang Bernd's dead body on a meat hook in some other room of the house. The image you're about to see next is an actual screenshot from the video Arin took of their whole activity. Please be warned, it is very, very disgusting. Now, Bernd's body would become something akin to a cow at the butcher's. Arin would basically cut Bernd into pieces and store the meat in a freezer. By doing this, he would basically have a steady supply of human meat he could cook and eat whenever he wanted to, and this is exactly what he did. In a time span of 10 months, Arin would basically take bits and bits of Bernd's body out of the freezer and cook and eat him. He managed to evade suspicion from visiting guests by hiding the meat under some pizza boxes in the freezer. As a matter of fact, he would have never gotten caught if he just controlled his urges a bit more and just refrained from posting yet another ad on Cannibal Cafe requesting for another victim. Upon the posting of this new ad, some college kids found out about it and alerted the authorities. This would be Arin's demise. Sometime around 2003, Arin would have his house swatted by the German police and himself arrested. On January 30, 2004, Arin Meiwes was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in jail. This sentence would be extended to life, as a psychologist commissioned to examine Arin concluded he still had the potential to reoffend, due to him still having fantasies of eating people. To this day, Arin Meiwes is still alive in jail. Yes, this is an actual picture of him in jail. The prison allows him to go out in disguise, and in prison, Arin's activities consist of doing laundry, going to church, and writing. In an interview, Arin claimed he had become a vegetarian ever since he was jailed. But it doesn't end there. Just recently in 2023, Arin's countryside house was firebombed by 2 unknown juveniles who have not yet been arrested. This has been the full story of Arin Meiwes, the German cannibal who doesn't at all look like one. Goodbye.